Jim and Terry Show, talking about things, current events, and the one that's most current is the one in New York.
Yes, the deliberation of the hush money trial. The jurors are now deliberating over the 33 counts against Donald Trump, and you and I have a bet. And I gave it.
Well,
it to you.
Our bet was broadly in the with three possibilities for the outcome.
You're going to give
trial.
me time to pay it off, though, right?
Yes. Well, the loonie has devalued, and so I think you should be able to manage that one. I don't know what it's worth now, 72 cents instead of 75.
In the United States, which we don't need to discuss, I think is half.
Yeah, is it 50?
Well, I don't know. It's
half
probably
on
60.
the dollar.
It's
wow.
60.
Okay, so the wager is the three options. The three outcomes are acquittal, which means he's off the hook. The hung jury, which is everybody's convinced but one. And then the third option is he's guilty of several, if not all, of the 30 some odd counts of fraud and intention to affect the outcome of an election. So it's election interference that I think is the big umbrella.
Well, when you got 33 counts, number one, I think I've lost the bet. Well, how could there be a hung jury?
What is your bet?
My bet was I said hung jury.
Hung jury, okay.
And
it just takes one.
It just takes one. But now that I think about it, 33 counts. They gotta literally come to a conclusion on all 33. Surely one of them he's guilty on. So it can't be a hung jury. It might be a messed up jury. You know, it partly hung. How does that work?
Somebody.
Oh, I know how a hung jury happens, but how does it happen on 33 counts? Would that mean one guy doesn't think he's guilty of anything?
Which would be a Trump supporter.
Oh, wouldn't it?
A wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, so anyways, I said hung jury.
Yeah, I said guilty, and what we don't know on my end of things would be what would the sentencing be, but that's not the point of the jury. The sentencing is the judge.
Well, did you see what Trump's lawyers did?
Oh,
and they had to be chastised, and the jury had to be brought back and talked to because he deliberately wanted them to think they were putting the ex-president in jail. And the judge said, no, that's not your job. Right. You're just finding out if he's guilty or not guilty. Yeah. You're nothing to do with sentencing. Yeah. And I wouldn't want to be the guy that has to sentence him.
But wasn't that a sneaky tactic?
Oh, they're sneaks. I mean, well...
I've got the book R.I.P. GOP. There's nothing good about it. And the GOP is not even the party of the conservatives anymore. It is a MAGA or ultra MAGA.
but that's the Trump lawyers. They're doing everything. And this is one of the problems I have with lawyers. Sorry, my friends, because I have friends who are lawyers.
Okay.
But it's one of the problems I have. Church? I don't know how you can sleep at night. But some of these people get off because of your trickedness. You're tricky. Yeah. And this one tried to slide it back past everybody, making and regardless of even the judge telling them, you have nothing to do with sentencing. It's going to be in their subconscious.
Yep.
And that
the seed.
And I don't know if there's any consequence to that lawyer doing that, other than, oh, sorry, Your Honor.
Well, that's significant enough that I would say that he needs to pay a penalty, like lose your law license for a year or something. Because you did it. This is a major, major trial. First time a former president has been put on trial, not for civil. This is not a civil dispute, which is what the other trial was. This is now, and he was found guilty. We use the phrase digital rape because he didn't get charged with a crime that meant that he actually raped E. Jean Carroll. He did use his hands in inappropriate ways, which would normally be called sexual assault, but in New York State, the law is defined differently, and he's guilty of rape. He's been adjudicated guilty. So he is a rapist, convicted rapist.
Well, he is. I mean, I wasn't there, but if he did what she said he did, that's rape too.
Yeah.
In reality, it's just not your penis.
That's right. Now, the lead lawyer in those other cases was Alina Habba. Did you see her on Fox just yesterday?
No, I didn't. I didn't even get Fox. So.
Well, it doesn't matter. Curiously, I have to go and hear what everybody's saying because I'm curious about how what I think is going on is portrayed by who anywhere on the spectrum of politics. So anyway, why I'm focusing on a lawyer is because she has, I think, one case out of all. She's the one who went to Bedminster to ingratiate herself upon Trump so that she would pick him up. She wanted to cover some of the sexual assault and thought that being a female lawyer, he could work some magic and get him off the hook. Lawyers. And she ended up being a lead counsel for some of these other things. But she was lead counsel for the E. Jean Carroll as well, which you may recall lost not once with twice. Millions, but twice with even more millions. And I think she was lead counsel for the Trump organization being found to defraud their charity. They're not allowed to have a charity in the state of New York.
I mean, people remember this, will you?
Well, yeah. Well, that's Alina Habba. But of more curiosity to me was the Arizona fake electoral scheme, which is now heating up in Arizona. All 12 of them have been indicted.
Yeah.
And one of them is another Trump lawyer. She lost her law license for 3 years for participating, aiding and abetting the federal crime, which is election interference.
Yeah, I mean, this is serious, serious stuff. And I don't know why most Americans are not appalled. Like, I don't know how you could I don't know how you can support that guy. Because he, De Niro's probably right. And I don't know if De Niro made any good for anything, but he thinks the way I'm thinking. If he gets in, you're never getting him out. It's going to become his country, and that's it.
Yeah,
I know our listeners don't agree with me on that. No, so you have a right to not agree.
Well, time will tell, right?
Yeah.
If he wins, we will know the outcome to that. It's like Bible.
And I'll say sorry if I'm wrong. If all of a sudden becomes a great president, I'll say sorry.
We'll say
but
sorry.
I got a funny feeling if he gets elected, I won't even be going to Florida.
No, I'm 100% convinced he will not be ever called a great president, despite what the MAGA crowd believes about him. He is the worst.
If he's going to do what he's going to do, and they're already got the things in motion. He wants to dismantle all the legal system in the United States. Who does this remind you of? Adolf?
For those of us who sort of lived, we lived post that, but our parents lived through that and served to fight that. And I'll be darned if we're going to go down, our generation, without making sure that this does not happen again. So who are these people? Well, I look at the fan base of Trump at his rallies, and I still say they're mainly old people. And I don't know what they're.
I don't know what they're thinking. They lost their memory.
Well, I think they're all Facebook and friends.
Well, again, and forgive me, please, my brothers in the States, but you are pretty self-centered when it comes to stuff, and maybe you just don't know what happened. 70 years ago, 80 years ago.
American history goes in the realm of civics. So have we lost our duty, our sense of obligation to serve the greater good, which is society as a whole, democracy as a whole? Have we lost that sense of service?
I don't know. But in the United States, the argument's still that this is all Biden's doing, and he has nothing to do with it. It's elementary.
This is New York State.
Elementary belief. So he has nothing to do with it. He's coming forward now because he's not doing good and if you want to talk about Biden, what is wrong with him? I mean, he walks like he's a robot.
He has a condition.
What is it? Has he said it?
Yeah, everybody knows what it is. And
I don't. Tell me.
I couldn't tell you what it is. But
I want to know what it is I can...
You can do research and find it yourself. I can find it for you. But yes, there is a condition.
Oh, okay, and good. The reason I'm saying good is because it doesn't mean everything's wrong with the guy.
No.
But when he's walking like someone
who's... There is a physical condition.
Yeah, well, it's like me being dizzy all the time.
Now, it's not a mental condition, which is what MAGA wants you to believe.
Well, that's why I want to know what it is, and I will look it up.
Yes, you can.
Because if it's not Alzheimer's or something like this...
It's not a mental condition, whereas with Trump, you might argue, as many in the American Psychiatric Association have argued, that he is suffering from some form of dementia. But that's not even...
That's an argument.
It's two old people, granted. Yeah. One... you might say has dementia, one you might say has dementia, fine. You're talking about two old people. But one means well and does well, and one is a criminal in intention and action.
Yeah. And if Biden is going to be disabled in the future, I mean, I'll remind our American brothers again that there was a president who was crippled in the White House. And so I hope...
Roosevelt was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, if Biden wins, I hope he'll choose a wheelchair other than if he's struggling. I'll have to look up and see whatever he's gotten.
Right.
Does it continue to deteriorate?
Right.
And if it doesn't affect his mind, he can work the White House from a wheelchair.
Right. And I think that's, again, it's apples to apples, or you're comparing apples and oranges. The tendency is to find false equivalencies. The equivalency is they're both old guys. But that's where the comparison ends. The track record of both men on policies and what is benefiting America should be measurable, and you should be able to find it all out. And as far as I'm concerned, I voted that Trump would be the worst president ever. I think he was second from the bottom. There was actually somebody worse, although you never know. There's always
But that
time.
one that was second from the one that was bottom, did he run again?
I think he committed treason. Was kicked out. So there you go. But Trump is the second rung because he wasn't.
I believe Trump committed treason.
So do I, but he wasn't convicted of it.
No. But
there were two chances to do it, and both indictments were claiming that he was behaving in a treasonous fashion. The second one, more obviously, because he incited the insurrection. And again, most people in the MAGA side of things say it was a peaceful picnic of geriatric people.
Okay, I got a question for you. Now, this hush money trial, which is really cooking the books trial, is what it really is.
Which is really federal election interference. It's it's a federal crime.
It's a federal crime. Should he be convicted, what will happen?
I'm going to say Rikers. He's going to be incarcerated at your local penitentiary, which is Rikers in New York State, Upper New York.
And remember my saying he's going to flee the nation? Yes, I heard, and I read somebody saying that he's going to take a hike before. Why not?
So
if he's got the money, and we know he has a son-in-law worth billions. So,
and
he's friends with Elon. Maybe ride one of those rockets
to the moon, Alice. So many possible outcomes. I got a wager on a guilty plea, although I don't know how that sentence is going to work out. You're saying a hung jury? We shall see. Stay tuned.
I'll pay you 4 installments.
The Jim and Terry Show. A deflated quarter.
Four shows. I will too. I will.
Bye-bye for now.